You know, Mark, it's hard to believe this motorcycle showed up back in 1980. It was an 800cc air-cooled twin, and it just basically set the world on fire in terms of adventure touring.
Yep.
And here we are, I don't know how many years later.
It's few.
This has been through many generations, but man, it's quite a bike, eh?
Yeah, it does not seem like a bike from the 80s, that's for sure. It's fully modern in the way everything works on it.
Yeah.
And I was expecting sort of a big, cumbersome, old-fashioned bike, but it's got so many electronics and so many systems on it that modernize how it works when you're riding.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot easier to ride than I expected and way more comfortable.
Yeah. So it's still the same basic layout. It's a boxer, it's a horizontally opposed twin engine, although in this generation it's fuel injected, engine managed, liquid cooled.
Yeah.
So it's certainly come a long way. What was your impression of that engine?
Well, the motor is really strong, and riding around in the country, it was a nice day for that today. Turning around several times, I'd forget to put it back into first gear. I'd just sort of stop in third gear and start going, turn around, start going in third gear. You could use third gear from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour with no strain on it.
Yeah.
And to get going from a standstill, it takes a little more clutch, but the engine wasn't straining in any way. It's just strong and pulls, and away you go.
Easy engagement with the clutch, it's very light. The shifting, how did you find that?
So the shifting is interesting. I'm old school and used to shifting with the clutch every which way and having two fingers on the clutch as you roll along in case you got to make a quick change. But this is set up to shift up or down without the clutch, and it took me a second to figure out how it works best. But if you're shifting up, it's best to leave the gas open and just shift.
Yeah.
If you try to let off the gas, it becomes a little clunky, but it has electronics in, I assume, the engine management that cuts the engine for a second. It smoothly goes into the next gear, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
And for downshifting, if you try to downshift with throttle open, that will be clunky. But if you close the gas, downshift, doesn't matter how many gears, it just keeps shifting down, and it engages the gear really smoothly.
Yeah.
Which would be great off-road or on a dirt road. You just don't worry about the clutch again.
Braking. I found the brakes are wonderfully sensitive. They give you a lot of feedback, a lot of power.
Yeah.
Your experience on the brakes?
I'm always focused on the front brake as more of a road bike kind of guy. But I think these are interlinked front and back, so you know, any rider is going to be well served when they put on the brakes, back or front. I didn't notice any grabbiness. There's not a lot of dive from hard braking. It's pretty good, and given how much suspension travel there is, it was really well controlled while you're slowing down.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier the electronics and the sophistication now that's evolved with this motorcycle. There are a lot of options. You can select your suspension, you can select your traction control. What did you think of having that option?
Well, I tried them all out. There's a range setting mainly for acceleration. Mm-hmm. And it was possible, if you shift hard in that setting, to engage the traction control. You can see it blinking on the dashboard. And I tried it on the dirt road. We had a ride on a dirt road.
Yeah. And
it was working the whole time. So if you wanted to just drive distance on a dirt road and you really didn't want it to be wagging around like a dirt bike, you could use that setting, and it just sort of drives along. It's all managed for you.
And the nice thing is, if you're one of those people that likes to wag along and let it break out a little bit, you can also select that with the traction control.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the riding position.
Oh yeah.
I have never ridden a motorcycle that is just so spacious and comfortable.
Yeah, without feeling fat or anything.
Yeah.
The seat's relatively narrow at the front. It's got a nice wide back to it. The bars are wide. You're comfy. There's a windscreen that you can there's a dial for it to move it up and down, so you can get it just so for however you're sitting. Mm-hmm. But I think you could ride all day on this. You'd set everything on soft and off you go on a highway. It'd be fantastic.
Who are we going to recommend this motorcycle to? Who should consider buying one of these?
Well, given its size, I would say somebody who's already been riding for a bit and knows what to do, because there's a lot of functions in the engine that you don't want to be too fascinated with. Just make use of them.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced rider, you're not going to be too overwhelmed with that stuff. You're going to make use of it. Because of the size, you're not going to be intimidated by the size if you're an experienced rider.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to ride it in the city or on really tight off-road tracks and not feel like it was too much to handle. So I'd say somebody who's already been riding but wants a bike, one bike that does everything.
Right. Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, yeah.
One lasting impression?
Well, we didn't talk about BMW's build quality, and when you're riding a BMW, I think you know it and you feel it. It's everything about the way it's put together and laid out is, you know, top drawer, and that's what people expect for a BMW. You pay a little to have a BMW, and I think you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
So fit and finish.
Yeah, all first class. Really
Wonderful.
nice.
Well, thanks so much for helping us out this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a nice sunny day for a ride in the country.
Nice. Well done.